Hello and welcome to Embrace Nature UK episode 4. This week we're enjoying Halloween the Embrace Nature UK way. Every year many people across the world prepare for Halloween. They carve pumpkins, they take children trick-or-treating and they dress up for the occasion. But how can we give Halloween that nature vibe? We will be carving pumpkins with our nature-inspired designs. And we'll be recycling those pumpkins in creative and useful ways. Many people enjoy carving pumpkins, but what happens to those pumpkins once Halloween is over? Join us as we create nature-inspired carvings and ensure there's very little waste at the end. Firstly, we're going to carve out the pumpkins. It's important to keep all of the seeds and flesh, and this is a good time to separate them into 2 different bowls. We've already cut out our templates ready, so we're going to attach them to the pumpkins ready to carve them. The first template we're using is of a bat. Many people associate bats with Halloween, and this is probably down to the 3 species of vampire bats that feed on blood. They mostly feed off of livestock and generally consume about 1 tablespoon of blood per night, so perhaps they're not quite as scary as what we imagine, but they are lovely mammals, which is why we want one on one of our pumpkins. Next we're carving an autumn leaf. This time of year, woodlands all over the country break out in beautiful colours. If you wonder why this happens, check out episode 3 on our channel. Moving on now to our deer stag. We're at the time of year now when red, sika and fallow deer are rutting, which is a spectacular sight. The stags can be very vocal, and they're definitely not shy. Our template is of a classic pose, and as these species are so prominent at this time of year, this is why we think they deserve a place on a pumpkin. Our last carving is of a hare. They are a species that you can see all year round, and they're also a very familiar image. They were once believed to have been connected to witches, and as they're mainly nocturnal, they still hold a lot of mystery for people now. So there you have it, 4 designs to catch your eye on a pumpkin. So now that the pumpkins are carved, what should we do with the flesh and seeds? We always have hungry birds in the garden, so we've kept the seeds aside for them. You can prepare them by washing, then roasting them at 150 degrees Celsius for approximately 30 minutes. Let them cool, then blend them so smaller birds can enjoy them too. We are mixing them with mealworms and birdseed, then stirring it all in together with peanut butter. You could use flutter butter instead, but it's important to avoid salt where birds are concerned, as large amounts can be dangerous for them. We've put some baking paper into a container so we can pour the mixture in on top, then put it in the fridge to set. We've added a loop of string so we can hang the bird food up when it's ready. When placing it outside, be wary of warmer weather, as peanut butter that isn't set is not good for birds to consume. That's the birds taken care of, so what about us? There are a few things more enjoyable than eating a tasty treat in the great outdoors, so we are going to use the flesh from our pumpkins in a pumpkin pie. You will need 750 grams of pumpkin, 350 grams of pastry, 140 grams of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of grated nutmeg, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 2 beaten eggs, 25 grams of butter, 175 ml of milk, and plain flour for dusting. To make your pumpkin pie, you need to cook the pumpkin on the hob until it's soft. Preheat the oven to 180 degrees Celsius, which is gas mark 4 or 160 degrees fan. If you roll out your pastry on a floured surface and line the bowl, you then need to put it in the fridge for 15 minutes. Cover the pastry with baking paper and baking beads and then put it in the oven for 15 minutes. Take out the beans and paper when they're cool and bake the pastry for another 10 minutes. Allow that to cool. Increase the oven temperature to 220 degrees Celsius, which is gas mark 7 or 200 degrees Celsius for fan ovens. Blend the pumpkin until it's smooth, then combine the dry ingredients. Add the eggs, butter, milk, then pumpkin and stir. Pour it into the tart, cook for 10 minutes, then for 35 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is gas mark 4 or 160 degrees Celsius for fan ovens. Serve the pie when it's cooled.
Now that we've used the inside of the pumpkin, let's look at options for recycling the outside.
When your Halloween celebrations are over, you can compost your pumpkins, but other options for using them is to plant something in them, or you could use the pumpkin as a bird feeder.
So that's all from us for this Halloween special. We hope you have a happy Halloween and join us next Friday.